you're welcome. Nobody ever clapped for me before. There are bathrooms at the Iwo Jima Memorial. Here in the bathroom door open and closed a lot. But I will say the last time we were there, they were locked. I said, did I flunk? Did I get a C or did I get an A? And they patted me. Maybe they were being nice, but they told me I got an A. So that was nice. But anyway, they didn't tell me right at the beginning, you know. Oh, friends, we want to talk, please, about the waterway. Let's look right. This is man-made. And we created this water on the right and left in 1880 to stop the flooding. Now, what happened is, see, way over there, there's a bridge. And we created this as a flush system. We dug 30 feet down with the Army Corps of Engineers. Now we take the landfill 30 feet and we elevate everything to the north along the mall in front of the White House, and it stopped a lot of the flooding. But now the seawall keeps flooding. And you might have seen the news about Stumpy. He's way over there, and some of the trees are dying because too much water is as much of a problem as too little water for trees. So we got to take 300 down over there, but we're going to plant them back up. Now look at those tulips, guys. Aren't those great on the right? Yeah. This is where they're going to have probably this weekend. We're going to have some emissaries from Japan, and really neat. Now, never down here, but you know who I saw one year? I saw Prime Minister Abe. And it's so big, it has 566 offices. Wow. Now there's a walkway to the West Wing and the White House, but there's an underground tunnel. And this is where a lot of the Fed employees work. A lot of the president's aides, the vice president gets 25 offices we think look right. We think Vice President Harris gets offices on the second and third floor. Now I'm going to show you the Blair House too. And we're going to drive by the Blair House. See how it has an American flag? So no dignitaries are there. Last week we had the leader, the Prime Minister from Ireland. So when the leaders are here, we change the flag. It's the de facto residence. Now, early on, when we were designing the new city, 1790 onward, Washington hires Pierre Lafont, and he is the city designer, and he was brilliant, from Paris, and he had degrees in art, architecture, and engineering. And his dad's job when he was a young boy in Paris was to redesign the summer gardens of Versailles, the kings and queens summer gardens. And so he believed that a great city, this new Washington capital, should have promenades and boulevards, look a little bit Parisian, have incredible green space, parks, flowers, malls. All roads would lead to the Capitol building, because even though we have 3 branches of government, the building that represents we the people is the most important one. Burn it down just 14 years later. Same day, it's August, it's 1814, it's during the War of 18. Doing great things, running his newspapers, starting University of Pennsylvania. He was doing experiments in electricity. Now let's look over here. The White House. We're going to just drive by. We're going to drive by slowly. No. Yeah, that's perfect. Now, my new friends, this is the side that didn't flood. This is the side that we used as our front door. And technically with classical buildings, by the way, we decided, Pierre Lafont, Washington, and Jefferson, when they're designing this capital, because the Greeks and Romans birthed democracy, and we Americans cradle it, we're going to use classical buildings, okay? So that's one of the reasons so many of the structures you've seen today are classical, because we're thanking the ancient Greeks and Romans. Now, the statue in the middle is well done art, Cassie believes. And I really like the sculptor. When this other bus pulls up, as we drive by slowly, you're going to see it. It's Jackson, and he's on his favorite horse, Duke. Now, this is what historians say about Andrew Jackson. He was the 7th president. He beat an incumbent. And what had happened is John Quincy Adams wins a term. He runs for re-election, but Jackson beats him. Jackson had been a great war hero during the Battle of New Orleans, and his army men say this about him: he doesn't send men to battle, he leads men into battle. Now, Mills uses his church, and we renamed the name of 16th Street on the left for 3 blocks to Black Lives Matter, and that's because after George Floyd died, that was about 3 years ago. Big marchers, a lot of marches. Do you have a question in back? So we have a 48%. Oh, guys, I gotta show you something nice. This is Dolly Madison's house, and Dolly Madison started in your state. Now, she was Quaker. She's married, she has a son, and now her husband dies. She falls in love with James Madison. The bankers wanted to have they wanted to be in this area, right? So a lot of these buildings are current banks or former banks, investment companies, and a really good restaurant, Old Ebbitt's Grill. Next time you're here, if you have time, that's our oldest restaurant right there. And they have heirlooms from Alexander Hamilton and also Teddy Roosevelt. Now, guys, I have to show you a couple of cool statues on the right as we're headed over to Washington. Please look right. He's a small statue, but he looks quite elegant and confident, which he was. That's Alexander Hamilton. And he is known as being maybe the most important Treasury Secretary. And he was George Washington's most trusted aide. brilliant, but always honest, and he'll always tell Washington the truth. This is Sherman on the right, a very big statue. And of course, Sherman on the right is famous for the long march through the South during the Civil War. This on the right now is one of the president's driveways. And for security, there's two. And they park the Beast in underground tunnels. And they park all the beautiful cars and police cars under there. And, oh, we gotta look over here. I get so excited, guys. Now, this is, look, go up and down. Don't worry. Well, you should have worried. Setting up for the Easter egg hunt, but the Boy Scouts are over here. Now, my kids did Cub Scouts, and there is a statue. Did any of you nice folks join the Girl Scouts, the Boy Scouts, the Cub Scouts, or the Campfire Girls? I was the Campfire Girl. Anyone? It was fun, wasn't it? Yeah. Now, I want to talk about what happened. Over here, the Scouts started in England. And now it's the 30s, and we decide that's a good idea. So they have their first jamboree right over here, and they get hundreds. And they get the English ones and the New Americans. And they had a big camp out. Oh, by the way, my cousin is the Scoutmaster in Denver. And he was sent to Korea with his group, but it was hard. They didn't have enough water, and they didn't have enough shade you're looking at. Yeah, it is a thrill. It's hard to get those tickets. Oh, Struthers. It's Struthers. Guys, one other question. You've been lovely, kind, interesting. You've been smart and wise. And I loved hearing about your journeys and your travels and your tours. I'd never heard of this tour agency, but it sounds fantastic. And I heard about some of the trips. Who's gone on more than one trip with Wolf Travels? Oh yeah, guys, they sound great. Into the best cities, New Orleans and Savannah, Charleston. Well, friends, I hope you've enjoyed.